Hi everyone, this is Otis III, and right now I'm going to do a video about my 2012 regular season NFL predictions. And I'm sorry this is a little bit late because the season already started, this past Wednesday night with the Cowboys-Giants game, so that won't really affect my predictions in any way. But the season, I guess some people say, really does start on a Sunday since everyone else will be playing on Sunday and of course Monday night. So I guess without further ado, here are my 2012 NFL regular season predictions. And I'm going to start off with the AFC first, and then I'm going to do a video about the NFC after this. So for my AFC predictions, I'm going to start with the AFC East, and of course I'm going to go with the Patriots to win that division. I mean, I guess without a doubt, right? I mean, the Patriots, they've been the class of the AFC East for a long time. Tom Brady and Belichick, of course. They added Brandon Lloyd, and in a sense, he might be replacing Chad Ochocinco. In a sense, so. But they'll definitely be a decent team offensively. And even though their defense was exposed last year in the Super Bowl, they still have a decent team overall. I mean, they might not be like the best team in the NFL right now, but they're definitely one of the top teams in the NFL. So you can't really go on with the Patriots. So I'm gonna go with the Patriots to win the AFC East. Second place is where it gets interesting because the Jets, they're overhyped, as we all know. ESPN loves the Jets. And of course now with Tebow there, they're going to be overhyped even more. Mark Sanchez is still there, and they're trying to make a quarterback controversy, but the guys are cool with each other. But the Jets is just that there's some turmoil there because not Rex Ryan, Santonio Holmes, I guess, didn't get along with Rex Ryan last year. Or there was this turmoil there that he had, and I'm sorry to say, but the Jets are just a mess right now, and I just don't really see them being in second place. I think the Jets will probably be in third place in the AFC East this year, but in second place, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills because the Bills they give me an upcoming team in the AFC East for sure this year, and in the AFC in general. But I mean, they have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback. They have Fred Jackson at running back, C.J. Spiller. They added Mario Williams, which is kind of a surprise, but that was a big move for them. Adding Mario Williams. They have Kurt Morrison on defense. And they're just a good decent up and coming team. They have Stevie Johnson, who's from the Bay Area, at wide receiver. I think he's their number one wide receiver. He's from the Bay Area. They have I think he's from Vallejo, I think, or Fairfield or something. And then they also have Brad Smith, who was with the Jets before, but he's a decent I guess he could be a quarterback, but I mean he's a wide receiver though. But the Bills are a pretty good team, so I'm gonna go with them in second place in the AFC East. I'm gonna go with the Jets in third place. In the last place, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I mean, we all saw them on Hard Knocks, and it's kind of interesting to kind of the stuff they went through, during training camp with the Ocho stuff, and then kind of like everything with Tannehill and stuff, and the Dolphins are obviously rebuilding, and I think even though Chad Johnson signed there originally looked like it could have been a good move. He could have, revived his career down there. But the Dolphins are rebuilding, and Chad Johnson, I don't know if that would have worked out even if he would have stayed. Especially at this point in his career, he obviously wants to be on a winner. But I mean, that probably wasn't going to work out. And the Dolphins obviously are building. Tannehill's going to be the starting quarterback. They have Reggie Bush there. They have Devon Best and other decent players, but they're obviously rebuilding right now. But yeah, the Dolphins I think will be in last place in the AFC East. As far as the AFC South goes, I'm going to go with the Texans to win that division. I mean the Texans, they're definitely an upcoming team in the AFC right now. With Shaw, with Foster, with Johnson. And they lost Mario Williams' defense. They're just a decent team from top to bottom. Even with the injuries, quarterback last year, they even brought in T.J. Yates and he was still winning games. So the Texans are an all around good team in the AFC. Some people haven't gone to the Super Bowl. I don't know if I haven't gone to the Super Bowl just yet, but I think they'll definitely be a good team in the AFC, and I have them winning the AFC South. As far as the second place team goes in the AFC South, I'm going to go with the Titans. And the Titans, I mean, they're kind of an upcoming team too. They might not be there yet for sure, but they're definitely gonna they'll definitely be I'm not saying they're gonna win the AFC wild card or nothing, but I think they'll definitely be a decent team. They're gonna go with Jake Locker at quarterback, which actually isn't a bad move because Hasselbeck, I mean, he's okay, but he has injury concerns, and it's like it's kind of time that they kind of turn the corner and rebuild and move forward with Jake Locker. So they're going to go with Jake Locker at least to start the season. Of course, Chris Johnson is still there, and they have a decent defense overall. So yeah, I think the Titans will be the second place team in the AFC South. Third place team, I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. The Jaguars didn't really have a good year last year. And Maurice Jones-Drew had to hold out, for most of training camp. Of course, he's gonna, he's back now, but he's not gonna start the Sunday. But I mean, he's definitely gonna play a lot of the season. Maurice Jones-Drew is one of the best running backs in the NFL. So, and of course, he's from the Bay Area as well. But I think the Jaguars. I mean, they have talent there. They drafted Justin Blackmon, who's a wide receiver from Oklahoma State. Of course, they have Jones-Drew. They added Aaron Ross, who's a cornerback from the New York Giants, so he should help improve their defense. Of course, they have Blaine Gabbert, who was terrible last year. But I mean, with Maurice Jones-Drew there, with Justin Blackmon there, he'll probably improve this year. But we'll see how it goes. But I think the Jaguars will be the third place team in the AFC South. Last place, I'm going to go with the Colts. But the Colts are definitely going to be another kind of team though, because they have Andrew Luck there now, and it's kind of great they went from the Peyton Manning era to now the Andrew Luck era. So they'll definitely be in good hands. Quarterback with Andrew Luck. He's definitely a building block for them. They have Kobe Fleener, who was his tight end at Stanford. So it's kind of cool that his tight end that he had in college is now his tight end in the NFL. But the Colts are obviously rebuilding right now. But they're going to be a rebuilding team that will be an upcoming team in the future. Like they might win probably 4 or 5 games this year, but they'll be on the rise because of Andrew Luck. But yeah, I think the Colts will be the last place team in the AFC South this year. As far as the AFC North goes, I'm going to go, of course, with the Steelers to win that division. I mean, you kind of can't go wrong with the Steelers. The Steelers, even though people say they're old, or they're the winning might be closing the winning of the Super Bowl. But they're still the Steelers. I mean, they still have Ben Roethlisberger there. They have, even though Mike Wallace had a holdout, he'll be there. And even though Jerome Harrison is going to be, or James Harrison, my bad. James Harrison is going to be, he's going to miss some time, but they're still solid on defense. They still have Troy Polamalu there. And the Steelers are definitely a solid team from top to bottom, so I have the Steelers winning the AFC North. Second place, I'm going to go with the Ravens. And even though they won't have Terrell Suggs for a while, they're still a decent team. With Quinn Bolden there, of course Ray Lewis on defense, Joe Flacco. Even though people are kind of hot and cold on Flacco, but Flacco's he's a decent quarterback. Of course Ray Rice at running back. So I think the Ravens still have enough to at least compete in the AFC North and possibly challenge the Steelers. And actually I think the Ravens will be one of the wildcard teams in the AFC. So I think they'll definitely compete in the AFC North, but I have them as a wildcard team in the AFC. Third place, I'm going to pick the Bengals. And of course, the Bengals, as we saw last year, are definitely definitely on the rise. They made it to the playoffs last year. And they have decent players. With Andy Dalton, with AJ Green. They added Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and their defense is not too bad overall. I mean, they're definitely a good team. They could contend for one of the wild card spots in the AFC, I think. But yeah, the Bengals are definitely on the rise. They might not make the playoffs this year, but I think they'll definitely compete or contend in the AFC North and in the AFC wildcard spots. And last place, I'm going to go with the Browns. The Browns obviously rebuilding. I mean, they added Trent Richardson. They added Brandon Wheaton, who's like 28 or 29 years old. He's older than, I guess, Alex Smith. He's older than Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, they're obviously rebuilding. Obviously, the Browns might not do a whole lot this year, but I mean, with Brandon Wheaton, I guess, and Trent Richardson as building blocks, they might be in okay hands, I guess. But yeah, the Browns, I think, will be the last place team in the AFC North. As far as the AFC West goes, a lot of people think this division is kind of hard to call, and it really is, because you could really go with almost all these teams. I'm not really sure about the Raiders as much, and I'm sorry, Raider fans, but I'm definitely going to go with the Broncos to win the division. I mean, yeah, Peyton Manning is coming off injury, but it's Peyton Manning, though. It's kind of hard to really go I think it's healthy Peyton Manning a little bit to see what he could do for the Broncos this year. And of course, they still have a lot of the same players they had when Tebow was there last year. With Eric Decker, with Demaryius Thomas, Wilson Gay at running back. But their defense really did it for them last year, as we all saw, and as everyone said. With Elvis Dumerville, with with Von Miller, with Champ Bailey. So the Broncos are definitely definitely the best. They probably are the best team right now in the AFC West. So I'm going to go with the Broncos to win the AFC West. Second place, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Actually, some people actually are. I'm not saying that down on the Chiefs, but I mean they definitely will be a better team this year because they had injuries last year, but with Eric Berry back, with Jamal Charles back, with Matt Castle back, they added Peyton Hillis. I mean, the Chiefs should be better this year. They had a Stanford route from the Raiders, so they definitely should be a better team this year. I have them winning. I have them getting the other AFC wildcard spot, so I think they'll definitely be a wildcard team this year, and I have them going in second place in the AFC West. Third place, I'm going to go with San Diego. I'm going to go with the Chargers. And this year, I mean, they still have decent players. Phillip Rivers is still there. Antonio Gates is still there. They have Eric Weddle on defense. Takeo Spikes on defense. But, I mean, the Chargers are kind of one of those teams that the window is closing on them. I mean, North Turner is still there, which is kind of surprising. A lot of people thought he was going to be fired, last year, and he stayed. If they don't make the playoffs this year, he might be fired. But I don't know. Maybe he might stay this year too. I mean, he finds a way to keep his job. So, I mean, I don't want the guy to be fired. I'm not a Charger fan, but I mean, it's weird how the guy, he underachieves and it's like he still keeps his job. I don't know. He must have pictures of somebody there. I don't know, but yeah. So the Chargers, I think, will be in third place. I mean, they won't have Mr. Jackson this year, but they added Robert Meacham. They added Eddie Royal on offense. So it's interesting to see how Phillip Rivers does with those weapons. But I have them being the third place in the AFC West. And the last place, I'm sorry, Raider fans, but I'm going to go with the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders are obviously rebuilding. They're turning over. They have a new regime now. Sadly, Al Davis passed away last year, and they're turning the team over. They have a GM in Reggie McKenzie. They have a new coach in Dennis Allen, and of course Carson Palmer's still there. But see, the thing with them is they have to hope that Darren McFadden stays healthy. They have to hope that that they give some production from the wide receiver spot. Because they don't really have any receivers right now. I mean, they added Roscoe Parrish, they added Derek Hagan. They still have Darius Harry-Bay, but they have injuries to Denarius Moore. They have an injury to and also to Jacoby Ford. They let Louis Murphy go, which was kind of a curious move. So it'll be interesting to see what the Raiders do. They added Ross Streeter, who had a pretty good preseason, but it'll be interesting to see how they do. Their defense is okay. They added Ed Bartell, Shante Spencer, former Niner, but I mean, it'll be interesting what the Raiders do. I think they'll probably win 68 games this year. Some people think they could win 10 games, but I'm not sure if I'm really feeling that from Raiders. I'm really sorry, Raider fans. I hope you guys aren't mad at me, but yeah, I think the Raiders will be the last place in the AFC West. And as I said, my wild cards will be in the AFC. Will be the Ravens and the Chiefs. So those are my AFC predictions. On my next video, I'm going to do my NFC predictions for the season. All right, take care and God bless.